Slay. If you'll state your name and address for the record, you'll have 3 minutes. You just give Robin a minute so she can get the timer up, please.
Good evening, I'm Carlos Slay, 54161, Callahan, Florida. Ladies and gentlemen, I come to you this evening to follow up on a question to the attorney here on the legislative intent that he's seeking an opinion from the Attorney General's office as requested. And one of my issues that y'all been discussing was on the graduation rates, and I would like to go ahead and go through it. The issue I wanted to bring before the board is that a recent report in the news regarding graduation rates, from what I learned, it would appear that the school district is one of 6 school districts in Florida using a practice that targets struggling students which draws these students into a private school that are out of state. It would appear that in Nassau County, 92% of these withdrawals happening during the month of May, just before graduation. The reality is that doing this, the school district has artificially approved its graduation rates and points on the district grade. So I have a few questions. In 2013, Dr. Ruiz said it was a coding issue that was being corrected, yet the data seems to suggest this is an organized and planned activity similar to what is happening in Leon County. Is there a board policy that implements these practices? How much is being spent by the school board on these private, out-of-state, for-profit schools? What happens to these kids who are targeted for these withdrawals? Are these schools diploma mills? That's a big question. Is it true that the school board pays for 2 online classes and you get a diploma? Do you consider this cheating? It appears to violate a spirit of intent of rules, and when others do not do it, harm. It harms all the others who do not do the same. Does this practice result in the school district receiving an additional point on its district grade? Otherwise would not receive this result in an award of A, and would it be plus bonus money from the state? Finally, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to bring to your attention, I received phone calls from parents from Hilliard Middle Senior. Were told that they were either had to wave a campaign sign for a certain candidate on Saturday, or would have to give a 10-minute speech on why they love America. Now, I'm concerned with this because I don't think the teacher, Ms. Geiger, had the proper authority to do that. And if she did, is it a school board policy regarding this type of conduct? I believe that the teachers hold
Mr. Slay, your time is up.
Okay. Well, I thank you for this time to speak, and I ask that they teach our students to keep their personal views to themselves.
Thank you, Mr. Slay.
Thank you.
Any questions or comments from the board?
I've got a couple if I could.
Yes, I can.
How many districts did you say?
There are 6 districts that I look at, sir.
Yeah, there's a lot more than that, I can tell you that.
I was just the 6 that I seen.
Yeah, so there are a lot more, probably closer to 48 districts that employ the same program. Also, I got some information too. By the way, I think you said Hilliard, the person that you mentioned doesn't teach at Hilliard.
It was brought to my attention, so it's not my
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that. And, also, in some government classes, social studies classes, it could be a civics class, some teachers, encourage their kids as, part of an assignment or an extra assignment to get involved in somebody's political campaign. They should not specify a person, but just generally have that as an option. And I know I can remember the first time that I ran for office in 1992, and I was principal at West Nassau High School. And, I had, as part of an assignment or an option that those kids had was to get involved in a political campaign. And some of the kids asked me involved in mine. And so they did. You know, so we want our kids to be, we want them to be involved, we want them to be civic minded, we want them to be, you know, responsible and you know, and vote, you know, when they're, certainly when they're voting age. You know, so I don't think that in and of itself is something that's out, you know, out of the ordinary. But if it's a specific candidate, if they're, and I think that's what I heard you say, it's a specific candidate that they're asking somebody to help, and that's not right. So I just wanted to bring that up.
Excuse me, but I don't think we should be exploiting our kids in no way, shape, or form of asking them to get on a campaign, to help out anyone on a campaign, whether it be a school superintendent, county commissioner, etc. No one. We shouldn't ever ask our kids to do that for a grade. If they need to do a report, then let's let them do a report. Of course, doing public speaking, of course, we all have been there before. Public speaking can be nervous for kids, no matter what they are. And I don't think no teacher or person should have these kids out campaigning for them in their shirts and doing stuff like that. That is wrong, as you just said.
I'll tell you right now that I'm trying to think of the case. It goes back to the 60s, late 60s, early 70s. And it talks about the constitutional rights of students. And it says that the students do not leave their constitutional rights at the schoolhouse doors. They take them into school, they take them in the community, they do have freedom of speech, they have freedom of expression, you know, just like anyone else. So they're certainly free to do that on their own time. But I agree with you that we should require them to go out and support a specific person. If someone is going to go out and help in a campaign, on a voluntary basis, if that's an option that the student had, in this particular case, the students had an option. And if there should be an assignment that goes along with that, they should have to write, you know, an essay or, you know, talk about in front of the class, talk about their experience and, you know, what they experienced, you know, what their perception of it was. I mean, I think that's part of learning, and I think the kids have a right to, you know, do that if they choose to do so.
I will agree with you. They have the right to learn, sir, but when they're underage, that should be up to the parents.
Oh,
the parents have the right and
absolutely.
authority to sign off to say if they can do that or not. You know, kids are young and they're learning in their minds, and we shouldn't allow them that to happen. Because my children go to school to learn, but each educator here, not for the political view, or religious, or anything. Stand firm and just teach my child. If they want to go campaign, let them go home and ask their parents. But we don't wear shirts for candidates and go out there and campaign for them. That is wrong, by exploiting those children to do that.
Well,
That's just my strategy.
I'm not familiar with, you know, with the specifics of what you're talking about. You know, we'll check into that, but basically, I would assume that if the kid's gonna do something like that, that they would have the permission of their parents to do so.
Yes, sir. If I may just make another statement, did the school board seek an opinion from the Attorney General's office?
I'll address it to the board. And with all due respect to Mr. Slade, this issue has been researched. I have advised this board. I do not work for Mr. Slade, I work for this school board. No one on this school board has requested that I seek an Attorney General opinion, nor do I think it's warranted that I seek an Attorney General opinion. And that's the final thing I'm going to say on this topic, with all due respect to you, sir. If you want to go out there, Mr. Slade wants to go out there and have an attorney research this issue, and come back to me with some information, I'll take a look at it. But I am not sitting here at his request going out there and researching the issue, which I've already researched and which I've already advised this board. If he disagrees with my opinion, he can give me a call. I've given him on numerous occasions, I've offered him to give me a call, talk to me about it. He continues to come in front of this board and talk about the topic, which I've researched and I've advised the board. I don't know what else to say about it.
Thank you, Mr. Hackett.
Mr. Hackett, Mr. Slade is standing here, and you can address me, sir.
Sir,
And, no due respect, with all due respect.
Mr. Hackett.
Mr. Hackett.
Mr.
you
Slade.
work for the state.
Mr. Slade, you're up, please.
Thank you. Y'all have a good.
Have a
night.
seat,
Thank you
please.
for allowing me to speak.
Thank you, sir.
Wow.
Dr. Lewis, superintendent comments?